Man, all right. I appreciate everybody for tuning in. Let's see if this program can work a whole lot better. I don't know what's going on with it, but it still should be no buffering, and it should be no it should be consistent with the actual internet speed. So I know that the Cowboys in this particular game, I'm gonna say this first and foremost, we still had some great moments in this game. I'm gonna say this once again: Jalen Tolbert, phenomenal. Let me repeat: Jalen Tolbert, phenomenal. Um, Rico Dido, it's a toss up now. I don't think that there's a definitive answer of who is really running back two or who is really running back three. I like all of our running backs, to be honest with you guys. I like, of course, Tony Pollard. We like, of course, of Rico Dido. Let me know if this audio stream is straight now, though. Shoot, by the way, shout out to Notification Game. Appreciate you, bro. Let me know, boy. Oh boy, man, this right here, y'all. Oh my goodness, man. Y'all know I was pissed off, but neither here nor there. Yeah, Overshawn is out. King G, he's out. He's not going to be around. We hope that next season he can showcase some of the same traits and some of the same good stuff that he brought to the table this off season for next season. He's going to be like the Jabril Cox 2.0 in my opinion, right? He's going to be one of those guys. Somebody said phone stable now. It was stable earlier, man. I'm telling you, man. I'm really mad at this boy. I wanted my other setup, but we look. You can't stop a tank with no key. So I'm gonna give y'all this post game reactions plus more part two. This is really part three. Yeah. So appreciate you. Y'all know you can't stop a tank with no key, baby. Come on, baby. Appreciate y'all. All right. As the room fill up, be sure to hit the like, share this content. The third person that I have is Sam Williams. Sam Williams been phenomenal in this game. I'm not going to take away the aspect of the roughing the quarterback. That play is subjective. 5 years ago, that's a legitimate play. 10 years ago, that's a pat on the back. 20 years ago, they giving that man champagnes and all of those things. He was actually thrown into the quarterback by the dude that he was coming around the corner. So yeah, third string quarterback trash. I can feel you with that. You know, I ain't gonna shake you with that. Yes, third string didn't do what he's supposed to do. He didn't do what he's supposed to do. I would say this. If somebody said it's not even confirmed, it is torn. It's not confirmed yet, but from what we know, from what we heard, it was torn ACL. But if it's not, then we hope the brother can bounce back. And we got one of the best. And we talking about Overshawn for those who not out here knowing who we talking about. He's talking about Overshawn. But for those who don't know, I would look at it like this, ladies and gentlemen. I would clearly think that when you start thinking about the doctors that the Cowboys have over here, phenomenal, right? Phenomenal doctors work piece over here. So I'm gonna take that to the bank on whatever happens as it relates to if he have to go through surgery or if he have to sit out and be red shirt guy, you know. So and then, like you said, Deion Jones could be a possibility now. Yeah, it do opens up that. Fihoko should have been cut yesterday. Burner, I would say this with Fihoko. Shout out to him. He didn't really showcase us nothing, right? He didn't give us nothing. Cavante Turpin, he gave us a little bit more in the receiving category, right? So I would give him that. I would say the third string quarterback didn't play up to par, so we really can't get a true evaluation of some of the guys that's trying to make the team, like Durden, Jalen Moreno, Cropper, some of the other guys. Even though Dontario Drummond had 42 yards with 2 receptions, he did pretty good, but it's still not enough in my opinion. So those are the guys that, Keith, appreciate you. Says Deion Jones signed with the Panthers the other day. So yeah, so that's out of the woods right there. And Malik Jefferson still hurt too. Yeah, so we thin. We raised the blade thin on these doggone linebackers. Let me say, Schoonmaker gave us a little something today too. Shout out to Schoon. He gave us a little something. So it's one of those things. Turd, is that Turd Ferguson? Is that your real name? Is that your real name? Mozzie is not a bust. You're right. Yes, indeed. Yeah, I agree. I would say this with Mozzie. Wait till the all 22 come out, or if you got broadcasting view, if you got a chance to see the game and rewind and watch the trench warfare, if he was out there and one or more guys were on him and allowed other guys to fly around and get to the ball, then he did his job. Defensive tackle historically don't show up on the sheet. They don't show up on the stat sheet. You're not finna get a lot of gang of sacks from those guys, like the Vince and Woolfolks or like the BJ Rajis of the world. You're not going to get all of those. Land also did amazing. He had forced a sacked, strip fumble and stuff like that. Land did pretty good. Isaiah Land did pretty good. He's made a strong case. If you want to go over Isaiah Land and try to use Dorrance Armstrong as trade bait, although Dorrance Armstrong, they may put him on the bubble as it relates to that. No interceptions today. Yes, Jess. But I would say this too. Our number 2 and number 3 defense looked pretty good out there because we went against their number 1s again. And Geno Smith, I think that he only had one drive for a touchdown. We did our job. We held our deal down. And yes, this is preseason. Listen to this guy right here. Preseason in all capital letters. Preseason. We didn't get a chance to see our number 1 defense out there. Let me know if you've seen D-Law. Let me know where Parsons was at. Let me know if you've seen any of those guys, a Trayvon Diggs. Let me know if you've seen Gilly out there. Let me know if you've seen a Malik Hooker. Let me know if you've seen a J-Rock. You haven't seen those boys out there. So if we were able to hold down the fort with what we have, then we okay. Let me know if you see Tony Pollard out there. Let me know if you see CD Lamb. Let me know if you see Michael Gallup and Brandon Cooks. Preseason, guys. Yeah, listen to Lady Jessica. Preseason with the fire. So we got a long way to go, Cowboy Nation. And we are seeing what we are able to do with our second and third team on the defense and the offense. It looks good to us. For those who actually know football. Now, people that don't know football, Cowboys suck. Oh, man, we lost. We 0-2. There was a time that the Detroit Lions went 4-0 in the preseason. And then they ended the season in the regular season 0-16. There were a time that even the Cowboys lost every game in the preseason, and at the end of the year lifted up a Lombardi trophy. Who remember that, right? Here we go right here. Law, we're going to talk about this D-line coach not producing sacks preseason. JB too. I appreciate you though. It's preseason. And Isaiah Land, he did get a sack today. A forced fumble and a sack. My guy Sam Williams, I think he had got some pressure today and made some tackles for losses. Yes, Jackie, appreciate you. She says John Stevens need an MRI. Yes, he do. He's gonna need an MRI. Hopefully, you know what that was. Hey man, we want to run out there and we're gonna say, we want you. But we still evaluating these tight ends. We're gonna help you out. I think it's one of those things. Whereas it's literally, hear me out. It's one of those. It's one of those things, man. It's literally. Hold on. Yes, indeed. All right, so I'm thinking about this right here. That they stashing not Josh Ball. Shoot, they can stash him off somewhere else. But they stashing John Smith. Stevens. I keep on messing with John Stevens up. They stashing him, man. That's what I'm thinking. It's time to panic. Burner account. Yes, it's time to panic, man. Oh, it's doom and gloom. It's a marathon, not a sprint, Nick. You're right. So with that being said, it's just one of those things. Steven was on crutches with that Twitter. Yeah. I feel you. So the Cowboys itself, we are stacked on our defense, and we got to make sure we do our proper evaluations of our defensive players, whether it be second team, third team. And that's what they did. Eric Scott didn't have his best performance today. Eric Scott didn't have his best performance today. Eric Scott in a real game will not be asked to play on the outside, I believe. Bland, he would not be asked to play on the outside. He's going to be an inside guy. He's going to have leverage. He's going to have more people with experience out there on the field to help him. So sometimes you can sing good when you're in the shower, but when it's time for you to sing in front of everyone else, you need some help. And that's just exactly what's happening. Scott not ready. Yeah, he's not ready. Scott not ready. If Scott was ready, he would have been drafted in the first or the second round with Jackson Smith and Jigba. Jackson Smith was drafted in the first round, right? He was a damn good wide receiver. And if I said to you guys before, I'll say it to you guys again. The reason why I like going up against the Seattle Seahawks, because they got a good gang of running backs. They didn't even showcase all of it. Kenny McIntosh didn't run. Kenneth Walker didn't run. Zach Charbonnet only was out there for a spoonful of reps. And we were seeing their third and fourth running back or fifth running back out there getting busy with us. I don't care about us beating up the Seattle Seahawks week 2 of the preseason. We see those boys down the line. We can't showcase everything. We see those boys down the line this year. Right. So I think that we are in a good graces too. But still, when you think about the Seattle Seahawks, they well coached. I like their approach. I like how they gave some of their starters some run, get them freely, right? I think, Roxanne, Bell did play pretty well. He played better this week than he did last week. Bell played better this week than he did last week. Bell made a nice stop. KJ, let me talk about Kelvin Joseph for a quick second. He gave us something. Appreciate you, Matt Batten. Appreciate you. Thank you so much for being part of this episode. He made a great play. Then Wanye made a bonehead play. The defense was playing A++ until Wanye made that boneheaded play, and then they kind of lost focus. Was that the second time they lost focus? Because they lost focus twice. They lost focus when Overshawn got hurt, and they lost focus when Wanye made a play. Well, when KJ made a play, Wanye did something, got unsportsmanlike conduct, which that is a penalty that you can't have in the regular season. That's a penalty that you can't have. And one thing I'm going to tell you guys again, that when you have a young team that's full of third strings and second strings, it's all about momentum. It's all about confidence. And those valuable reps, most teams don't get those valuable reps. Why? Because they got their starters out there. Dan Quinn trusts his second and third team to be out there. You're right. They were undisciplined. Wanye was more so undisciplined. Like I said, there was only one play. The other one, roughing the passer, that's flugazi stuff that the NFL say you can't hit the quarterback low. even if the opposition throw you into his legs. So that's subjective, right? That's subjective. Uh, my guy says Noah Brown is living up to his style in Houston, dropping passes. Yeah. Shout out to Eastside Harold. That's his guy now, right? Yeah, Tolbert was very solid. Tolbert was very solid. And let me add to Jalen Brooks was very solid as well. For what he was able to do on that third down play to give us extension of that drive was everything. But Mr. Third Down was Jalen Tolbert. Tolbert is on his way. I don't foresee him trumping. I don't foresee that he trumped Michael Gallup, but man, he's a straight up dog for our fourth wide receiver. Straight up dog for our fourth wide receiver. Jalen Brooks made our fifth wide receiver. Kevontae Turpin is our sixth wide receiver. Special teams guy. Specialty guy. Those, I think we rock with six. I think that it would be a hard cut for Dennis Houston, hard cut for Simi Fihoko, and hard cut for those other boys, Durden, Dontario Drummond, Tyron Johnson. Tyron Johnson had an opportunity to stop his feet. Well, it was just a piss poor pass by the quarterback. Could have extended that drive on one of those plays. Yeah, Simi can't track the ball. This is Jackie. Shout out to you, Lady Jackie. Yes, he can't track the ball. Yeah, Clark and Sam Williams, they look ready to rock. They did their thing. All right, so what I'm gonna do at this time, if you guys would like to join the show, let me allow you guys to jump on in here. Normally, I don't do the show in this nature, but something wrong with my OBS. It keep freezing and things like that, and it's just choppy. I think too many people on OBSs right now. So what I'm gonna do here is we just doing it through StreamYard. But if you would love to be a part of the show and give me your feedback of what happened and what transpired in this game, I put the link in the chat area there, and jump on in. And let me see if I can pin it to the top. Y'all bear with me. We building the plane while it's in there. Normally we are cross play it over to some of the radios and listen to some live interviews of what's going on, but this is going to be a different show today. Appreciate y'all, man. Thank y'all so much. It's pinned to the top of the page if you want to give me your thoughts and what you have on your heart about this game. Penalties were ridiculous. Yes, you're right. Penalties were ridiculous. We led I think before the halftime, or right in halftime, we led in penalties. We led in time of possession. We led in yards, average yards run, and average yards on the field. But the problem was we didn't capitalize off of it. In order to get on, you got to at least show your face or what have you. You got to at least have a face or something in there, you know. All right, and all right, add you to the screen. You're live, man, on the Nation. Ken, what's up? Ken, jump back in, Ken. Appreciate you for jumping in. Trying to jump in. By the way, I got my guy, Coach Marv. You're live on the Nation. Talk to me, man. What's your feedback on this game? What's your thoughts?
Man, I love I stayed up a little later, man, because I saw you was on live, man.
Yep. Isaiah Land gave us something, Coach. He's one of the guys that you could say he was on the fringe of a bubble of being cut, but I think injuries probably saved him because you're going to have open roster spots now. Overshown looks like he's going to go to IR. Malik Jefferson, even though he was hurt last week, it looked like we got a thin spot there. What's your thoughts on this team in general on the defensive side?
Not to me. Law wasn't. Thomas was. I really like Thomas.
Yeah.
He's still flashing and he's physical and he's a big guy. But the defense to me didn't look as sharp. This is I just got one in just the coach in me that really it seems like it's sometimes misfits Just small things that's even though it's a second and third string,
Right.
that can be a product of the same thing for the first string as well.
True.
And we hadn't put our eyes on it to really see, to be able to correct it, because the first unit has not been out there to maybe correct some of those things. So we may take some time to really gel at the beginning of the season. But there were some guys that's going to need to step up, that's going to get an opportunity. Sorry to hear, what Overshawn, but hey, man, that's the nature of this sport that we play. The bodies, listen, man, the bodies are not formulated to play sports.
Yep.
They do that. We do that. But the bodies, that torque and stepping and twisting and turning, the bodies are not made to do certain things that we do on a football field. And you just have to be, certain times you're unfortunate. And that happens with all over the NFL. We getting guys hurt that maybe could contribute in a certain manner. But hey, that's where you have to build depth in. But I was very impressed by the defense, number 30. And I was very impressed with Kelvin Joseph. Very impressed. I think sometimes we understand why Bland plays better. He might be a slot guy,
right?
And Kelvin Joseph might be a better slot guy because of his physicality, and that makes him a better slot guy. So as he gets confidence, I think this is a very good confident game for him. I think we still all right with the defense, but I was very impressed by that. If some people on the offense, I think that we really need to talk about. Again, I tell people, Rico Dowdle's a star running back in this league. If he's
Rico changed my mind today, man. So yeah, he's RB2. Yeah. He's RB2. Yeah.
If I was able to talk to Rico, I would tell Rico this. There is absolutely, I'm telling you, all fans, football fans, there is no excuse for whiffing on a block on a punt team as a second running back or a third running back, because you have to play punt team. And that black block punt was all Rico.
He whiffed on it.
He
knew it too.
Right. He knew it.
Coach gonna get it to him on that one.
Right. And he pointed to himself after he got to the sideline. And I didn't see it when he pointed to himself. I said, oh, that was him. And yes. So he has to button up from those big mistakes, because we had a big mistake, did a great job in game one, big mistake of fumbling at the goal line. Did a great job this game, big mistake because you gave up a block punt.
No doubt.
You got to tighten the buttons up and say, hey, I got to stop. I got to have full concentration all the time, because that one time I don't, it can cost us a big thing. But I really like him as a second running back. And let me tell you something.
Talk to me, man.
I know people going to get enamored by Deuce Vaughn. And yes, but Deuce Vaughn is, I'm going to tell you people, this is how the Cowboys going to use him. They're going to use him in certain situations,
right,
where he can be explosive, but that's not going to be a lot of possessions.
No, 5 or 6 touches. That might be the max right there. I think Tony Pollard gonna get 14 to 15, and that's gonna be the max. And then you can throw Rico. And I think that they got a place for Davis, even though he may not have shined as much as we wanted him to. But I saw him do some hard runs inside, so he may be that physicality. This team may go with 4 running backs, and still, knowing them, they might still go with 5.
They're gonna go. I think they're gonna go. No, they ain't gonna go 5.
Well, I'm talking about with Hunter Lukey or what it's in between Hunter, and I saw Sean McEwen back in the backfield. And Sean McEwen, he gave us more than Hunter today. Even though Hunter gave us one explosive run, but that was it.
Well, Hunter Lukey is gonna be a practice squad guy, and we can yo him back and forth.
True.
When we need him. The same thing, and I mentioned this on our live show. With Deuce Vaughn having a good performance and maybe finding that niche for what he can do, explosiveness, right? with him being a third running back, that means who's going to play the yo-yo game between Rico Dowdle and Davis? Because one of them going to be on the practice squad, and we know how people looking at running backs. Nobody's going to pick up. They're going to be, listen, they're going to be hard to find if you want to go get them. They're not going to be hard to find. So that's the same thing with Jones. When somebody was telling someone, say, well, does that mean the end of Jones? Yes, that means the end of Jones, and he ain't going to be hard to find because if you cut him, you can go back and pick him up anytime you want to because he ain't going to be hard.
And the truth be said, just like we can say about the Seattle Seahawks, you know, Thompson, he ran pretty good. Kenny McIntosh, he didn't even play. And then on top of that, we've seen the other running backs over there. So think about that. That's just that team. There are 31 other teams out there, ladies and gentlemen, that got these type of caliber of players that we just don't know yet, right? So I do agree with you on that aspect of it. Overall, this team is a team that the second and third team, they still showed us something. They hung out with the ones on the Seattle Seahawks, right?
Yeah,
they hung out with them. They probably couldn't hang all day, but they at least hung out with them, had a few drinks. So they was at least being able to hang with those boys.
Yep, and two things I want to say, Law. One, when we talk about offensive line play, first I want to talk about offensive line.
Oh Lord, no.
I wasn't not that unimpressed with offensive line because they're young guys. And listen, I think sometimes when a guy get beat, we start, he ain't this here. Zach Martin gets beat.
I mean, Zach Martin, when Zach Martin get beat, he got a recovery phase to it.
Battles.
When 79, was the problem is when 79 lost his battles. Oh, my shoulder hurt now. You know, that shoulder hurt.
I saw his shoulder hurt. And yes, his shoulder was. I mentioned on the live stream after that play, he was the next couple of plays. His arm was straight, so I knew that he had a problem with shoulder. And I said it right when it
happened.
And so yes, that he may have a shoulder, but he wasn't playing that bad. He lost.
Well, let me ask you this though, Coach. I'm gonna see whether or not it's that same shoulder that he had surgery on, and if it's going to be a reoccurring thing.
It's the right shoulder. So if that's the right shoulder, because it was the right shoulder that got hurt. This outside shoulder when he tried to, when he came out, got off balance. He tried to grab the guy, got ripped through, and that's how I messed up my shoulder. When it got ripped through, it can be a separation of the AC joint. That's what maybe giving him problems because that's how you can lose. Get your AC joint, the bone right across the tip of your shoulder. But I want to say this, but some people are saying about well, we need to go ahead and give the 42-year-old guy a call.
Jason Peters.
Yeah, no.
Listen,
that train, those wheels gonna blow out sooner or later. That train is not gonna stay on the track forever. And I do want to say this about the defense, Law, and this is a very important key about the defense. The last 2 years, the only big problem I had with
hold tight. Jessica, we're gonna bring you on in a few, okay?
The only big problem I've seen in this defense, and it's one of my keys to victory last year that I posted. We give up too many plays over 20 yards.
Yeah, we do.
We got to, for our offense, it's not even for our defense, for our offense to be efficient, 20-yard plays is explosive plays. They change field position, and it puts us back against the wall. We have to come into this season, and we have to get the first unit and the third unit, but really you have to hone that in to say, we're going to make people nickel and dime us. We're going to stop giving up chunk yard plays.
Yeah, that big play, one of those big plays, I think it was a misread with one of the safeties over the top. Josh Butler, he played his technique pretty well, but the safety over the top never got home, and it was a big play. So, and I think that Eric Scott, the moment was just too big for him and Bland. Bland bit down too deep inside on the edge there, and he gave up over the top play. So those were some chunk plays. Yeah,
that's chunk plays, and I'm gonna get off the law. But listen, Eric Scott got beat. I'm gonna go back like I said about Zach Martin. D's get beat. Everybody gets beat, man. So
Yeah.
you can't just look at a guy and say, man, he got beat. He's everybody's gonna lose sometime, and sometimes it's gonna be a better guy. But if we see consistently getting beat, we just know this guy's gonna be a developmental guy. He's gonna make this team. He has showed enough goodness to make this team, but he's not gonna throw somebody off the boat. But he will make this team. But again, let the guy play because everybody gets beat, and he might have potential to be better. Like you said, coming on and moving forward, he'd be better. But Law, appreciate the platform, brother.
No doubt, man. That's Coach Marv, y'all. Appreciate Coach Marv for jumping in, always bringing us the great insight to football and all that he do. I think Coach Marv is on the East Coast, so it's super late where he's at. But still,
let's go, man.
That's Coach Marv.
Let's go.
All right. I guess we only had one other person that was waiting in here. It was some others, but Lady Jessica, you're live on the Nation. Give me your thoughts what you had of this game, the second preseason game, and what you have for the future for the East Dallas Cowboys.
First of all this complaining people are doing, it needs to stop. It's preseason. Preseason is just like you taking your clothes, separating them, and getting them, put each set of clothes in the washing machine at a time. You got to wash your clothes. You can't put your black and your whites together. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
So come on. You have to weed out the good, the bad, and collect the good with the other star players we already have. This is preseason. Preseason is to see who is coming out in the rinse, who is going to go in that wash and come out in the rinse. And you know what I'm saying? What all don't come out on the wash, it's going to come out in the rinse. So you got your players that we saw. A lot of people wasn't even believing in these boys. Now they like, oh, I like this. I like Deuce. He did his thing. They pulled him out. He made that touchdown, and they sat him down because he's a part of the star team now. He's a part of the 53-man roster. Y'all sit here and complain every year, year in and year out in preseason. Oh, this team ain't this and this. Y'all are some of the most complaining people I ever known. Stop it, people. It ain't regular season, it's preseason. You got to see who we keeping. You got to see who they gonna cut. You can't sit here and expect those boys to go out there and do what the star are doing. They are coming out of college. Yes, they play football, but now they're in the big leagues. So they just got to get their feet up under them, so to speak, so they can get the work in and get the job done. And they did a doggone good job. Majority of the ones that did it.
That did
what they need to do. They can't do it by themselves. You can't expect Culver to do it by himself. Yes, you can't expect Cox to do it by himself. And the quarterback got to look at what he got. You got to know your mans. You see mans open. You can't be looking over here. You got to scan the whole field and then throw. And you can't sit there and hold on to that ball for them to sack you. Come on, Greer. You got to do better.
Yeah.
You know, Dak was trying. Dak was trying to encourage him and trying to get him. But see, he got frustrated. He checked out on us, Law. He checked out on us. He started getting frustrated and checking out. You cannot check out being a quarterback trying to get on this 53-man roster, trying to get you a spot on this team. You can't be checking out on your coaches and your team. You got to stay focused.
Got to stay focused. You right on the money.
Watch.
Yes, indeed. I appreciate you. I appreciate you, lady.
I'm gonna get out the way though. But y'all got to stop all of this talking about this and that, man. Come on, coach. Come on. I know you sitting there, you got your strategy going, but this preseason, coach, come on now. You can't expect our boys to sit out there and get, we want them to come in here and do what the stars doing, but everybody ain't gonna do that. They gotta get their legs up on them, y'all. Come on now.
No doubt.
All right, go Cowboys. How about them Cowboys? I'm loving what I'm seeing. Deuce, baby. Deuce.
No doubt.
To the 53-man roster.
Lady Jessica, y'all put your hands together for Lady Jessica. Hey, those were the two people that hit that little button that's in my chat right there to jump on this show. And those were the two final people, because I'm going to get on up out of here, Cowboy Nation. And we'll be ready back early in the morning, if the Lord is willing, to go over some of this film, if possible, and give you guys some up-to-date analysis of everything. I really appreciate y'all. I love y'all to the stars and back, Cowboy Nation. As we continue to talk about this, keep this in mind. It's preseason. And what a hell of a day we had today of getting a chance to watch our Cowboys play. Win, lose, or draw. It was just good to see those helmets out there and seeing those stars on the side of them and seeing these guys run around. We're going to put our prayers together for my guy Overshawn and for anybody else, John, Steven Jr. We hope all of those boys are okay. And anybody else that got hurt today, we want to get these guys in the right direction mentally, because a lot of times these young kids, man, they ain't even over 25, 26. They got a lot of life ahead of them, and they may be looking at it like, man, the sun is finna set on my future. No, this is just the beginning. Now it's time for them to work even harder. There are people watching this show and platform right now that's in middle school, that's in high school, that reach out to Law and say, hey, man, your words of encouragement got me through. And I want to get this word of encouragement through you all that's listening. Just because you made a poo-poo today out there in preseason, keep this in mind. Another team may be looking at you and saying to themselves, this guy can be valuable to us. So you are pretty much a walking resume out there. So it's not going to, the sun is not going to set. More and brighter future will be ahead of you. And even when you are down, even when you are out of the entire picture, keep this in mind. You can say, I can start to work on harder things so that I can be a step ahead than what I was this year. Meaning that if you only had 7 reps to do 8. And if you only did 8, do 9. That's how this thing works out, Cowboy Nation. I really appreciate you guys so much. I thank you all for tuning in. Be sure to hit that like button, share this content, let a friend or a neighbor know where to go when they want to tune in to Cowboys Sports Talk and beyond. DC for life, not for short. Let's go. That's been my time. I really thank you all for yours. And remember, you're listening to nothing but the best. Go Cowboys. Thank all of you guys. Much love to you. Salute. We out. Peace.